Today is day 105 of the year of streaming and learning to code. We are continuing on here at Codecademy. We are currently at 50% of the way through learning ReactJS Part 2. And I think we're on, there's like 5, okay, yeah, so there's 5 parts to Section 2. We are on Section 3. We're at least going to get through this one. Hopefully we can make it through another if it's small, maybe even finish out all of Section 2. So that's that. Oh no. Sneezing, death, coming out of nowhere. Just awful. Okay. Let's see. Let's just dive right into Section 3. Well, Part 3 of Section 2. There we go. Stateless functional components. Again, but like yesterday, they had 2 sections. Section 2 had like 8 or 9 different instructions. So, page 1 is 1. There should be quite a bit more on the next page. Do we need to blow our nose? Because I feel like we are just falling apart right now. I think yes. Don't mind me. I'll spare you the glory of me blowing my nose. Falling apart. Dear Lord. Why? Alright. We'll chalk it up to the fact that it's becoming spring, slowly, and our soul is being crushed by planet Earth's environmental changes. Seasonally, that is. Okay. Fingers crossed, hopefully we'll live. If not, then we succumb to anaphylactic shock on stream, and, well, it all ends in a fiery meltdown. But, you know, worse things have happened. Worse things have happened. Okay. In the code editor, take a look at guinea pigs from the last lesson. Notice that its instructions object only has one property, render. When you separate a container component from a presentational component, the presentational component will always end up like this one render function and no other properties. If you have a component class with nothing but a render function, then you can rewrite that component class in a very different way. Instead of using react.createClass, you can write it as a JavaScript function. A component class written as a function is called a stateless functional component. Stateless functional components have some advantages over typical component classes. We'll cover those advantages in this lesson. Click on example.js to see a stateless functional component in action. Example.js. All right. We've got a component class written in the usual way. Variable myComponentClass equals react.createClass, render function, return hello world. The same component class written as a stateless functional component. Function, myComponentClass, empty parentheses, curly braces, return hello world, wrapped in H1s. Works the same either way. Rendered react.dom.render both receives the myComponent class component instance as the first argument, followed by the document.blah as the second argument. Okay, very cool. Good to know. 1. Select friend.js. Rewrite the friend component class as a stateless functional component. Friend. Use example.js as a guide. Make sure to delete the original friend component class when you're done. Example blah. We've got variable myComponent class equals React create class, parentheses, curly braces. Good, good, good. Death. Falling apart. The fun never ends. Okay. Just falling apart today. A wreck. Probably not the most medically sound, but my only solution right now is to just like duct tape my nose shut. I don't think that's gonna quite get the results I'm looking for curing my allergy issue, but whatever. At least that'll solve the runny nose issue, which is really all we're trying to do right now. Alright, what were we doing? We were selecting friend.js, we were comparing it to example, we're taking the component class written the usual way, and we're going for the stateless functional component conversion over on friend. We need to make sure we delete the original here on friend, so we're comparing and we're comparing. Example.js, variable myComponent class equals blah, just becomes function myComponent class. And then we have, it's basically continuing from here, because we've got the open parentheses and the curly brace. And that's about it. So we're essentially eliminating the outer React.create class. We're ditching render, and we're just putting in the variable name next to function, and then keeping the return statement. So good. We've broken it down. We see what we need to keep, what we can get rid of. Copy. Friend. Space. Delete render. And delete you. As well as that guy. And drawing a blank if that gets a semicolon. It does not. It's just, it's a function and that is it. No semicolon for them. This probably goes back one as well now. I think that's about it. So let's go ahead and run that. Fingers crossed. Stuff's happening. Boom. Our friend the octopus just chilling at the bottom of the seafloor. All right. Golden next. Do. Nice, nice, nice. There we go. All right. What do we have? We have section 2, their little anecdote. Stateless functional components usually have props passed to them. To access these props, give your stateless functional component a parameter. It's customary. No. We jumped a line. We skipped this guy. To access these props, give your stateless functional component a parameter. This parameter will automatically be equal to the component's props object. It's customary to name this parameter props. Read example.js to see how it works. Not only are stateless functional components more concise, but they will subtly influence how you think about components in a positive way. They emphasize the fact that components are basically functions. A component takes two options. A component takes two optional inputs, props and states. Hold on, my phone totally keeps distracting things. Good, okay. One crisis after another. Not only are stateless functional components more concise, but they will subtly influence how you think about components in a positive way. They emphasize on the fact that components are basically functions. A component takes two optional inputs, props and state, and outputs HTML and or other components. You'll be seeing a lot of stateless functional components in the next React course. Open guineapig.js. After you divided guinea pig into guinea pigs and guinea pig's container, guinea pigs was left with only a render function. That means guinea pigs can be written as a stateless functional component. Rewrite guinea pigs component class as a stateless functional component. Use example guide as a guide. Make sure to delete the original guinea pigs class when you're done. Click run. Make sure that your guinea pigs are still working. Really? There's only one on this? This is the shortest lesson we've come across in our 105 days of Codecademy. Maybe they're just shooting for a different feel. I do think this is part of their newer module stuff. Like, they don't have the old forum keys down here, and they got the new get help stuff and all that jazz, but it seems extremely trimmed back to some of the content from their older stuff that we were just dealing with, right? No? Maybe I'm just crazy, which would make sense, but either way. So we're destroying guinea pigs to create new guinea pigs, essentially. Well, all we do, as we saw, is we take guinea pigs, copy that. Function goes there. We get rid of the excess. Well, I think that's it. Let's just run it. Damn. Guinea pig should render a div. It does render a div. Guinea pig should render an H1. What the deuce is happening? Am I confused? Did I totally miss something? Guinea pigs. Rewrite guinea pigs component class as a stateless functional component. Use example.js as a guide. Make sure to delete the original guinea pigs class when you're done. Click run and make sure that your guinea pigs are still working. Guinea pigs should render a div, which it did. Guinea pigs should render an H1. within a div, which it has. It's got cute guinea pigs right here. Maybe it's the lack of oxygen from not being able to breathe. Guinea pig should render an image source. They've got source equals props.source. I don't know if that may be our issue. It should render an image within a div, which we've got. Maybe it's the props.source, but that they didn't mention any of that at all, ever, at any point. So we'll try adding it. Props.source. Does it want the... I mean, there's no render thing, so I feel like we need to add the variable React DOM, require React DOM, and then the React DOM at the bottom with the 2 arguments, and render guinea pig, or am I just... Maybe I'm crazy. Close this, let's run it again. Maybe it was just the props thing. Which is weird, because, okay, and it's still giving us all this nonsense. Damn. Open guineapigs.js. We've got guineapigs.js. After you divide guinea pigs into guinea pigs, after you divided guinea pigs into guinea pigs and in guinea pigs container, guinea pigs was left with only a render function. Yeah. That means guinea pigs can be rewritten as a stateless functional component. Cool. Rewrite guinea pigs component class as a stateless functional component. Use example as a guide. We did that hard. Normal way to display prop. Blah, diddly blah, render function blah. Stateless functional component way to display a prop. Oh, and it takes this guy. Props. We should be shoving something in there. Maybe it's props? Who knows? Maybe it's guinea pig. Normal way to display a prop using a variable. Variable, my component class, React, render function, variable title, props.title, return, blankety blank title. Stateless functional component way to display a prop using a variable. Function, my component class, props, variable title equals props.title. Maybe we'll have some issues there. And then return title. So variable title, so this dot props dot blah becomes props dot title, props referenced here. Anything with a variable title would be this dot props dot title just becomes, so we ditch the this and we repeat props as a parameter. So add props as a parameter and get rid of this. Add props as a parameter and get rid of this. Add props as a parameter. Get rid of this. I'm not sure about image source, but because they yelled at us with this down here, I'm just going to run with it. So let's try giving this a shot. Boom. This got guineaed hard. Got pig all over the screen and everything. Love it. Love it. Okay. We got the badge. Up next, what do we have? Prototypes. Ah, son of a bitch. I keep saying prototypes. It's prop types. Damn. It's all the... It's the car stuff. Endurance racing. Le Mans? No. Prototype P1 and P2 classes. Prototype 1, Prototype 2? No. Audi. all that good stuff. Well, Audi's no more, but it's okay. Yeah, that sucks that Audi isn't in P1 anymore. I mean, Porsche's there, but all right. Aside from that, so we figured out the issue. We're moving on. Mind reflection tangent over with. Prop types, not prototypes. Learn to use prop types to validate props and provide documentation. On line 8, you're not using the variable. On line 8, I'm not using the variable. Jump, 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 jump. Jump, 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 jump. Oh no, I can't click out and around the up next window. We're gonna have to hit start lesson. Ant mounds. Hold on. We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Doop, 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 doop. Okay, we're going back. We are going back. Ant mounds says there's an issue with line 8. Let's all go to line 8 now. Let's all go to line 8 now. Okay. We're loading. Back into stateless functional component. Page do. Which we're on page 2 already. Cool. Lest not forget. Let's do... Oh, no issue. Just unused variable. Source. Gotcha. Okay. Alright. Yeah, no, they're interesting when they decide, they being Codecademy, with what they decide to approve their green check marks with. I've run into many issues where they give out the green check mark for a job well done when there's still issues or concerns or things like that. But yeah, that's all they've got for now. So we'll digress. We'll move on to the next section. Stay heavy, right? Start letting go time. Onwards. Do. Right, this son of a bitch. They jumped forward to 2. We didn't even get to read section 1 yet because there was no activity on it. All right. Prop types. So I was wondering about that. I'm going to do that, man. You're right. The reason why I added props.source was because before I figured out that I needed and just have source. No, not never minding. You are right. It was eating away at my soul. I was wondering. I just didn't bother with it because they gave the green check mark. So not that matters. I mean, it matters here, Codecademy, but in the real world, no one's giving you a green check mark for when you're programming in the real world. Anywho, so before I put props up here and I was still confused on what the hell was going on, I still had to stop props and blah blah blah, changing it from a regular component class to a stateless functional component. I had just source here, and before I had the parameters, when I ran it, it was giving me an error at the bottom down. Here, next run, for all the nonsense that I had that was missing and wrong. One of them was the image tag, and it showed image source prop dot source. So I was like, maybe I need to add prop dot source instead of just source, which is what they started with and which is what I had. So I went ahead and added prop. And since they gave me the green check mark, I was like, cool, good enough. Must have been one of the issues, but we will run it. We're also going to highlight all this. That's that. Long story short, for a minor issue, but nevertheless, still an issue. Clear that. Boom. There we go. And let's run it. Fingers crossed. Ta-da! Well, at least there we go. Boom. Everything is right in the universe again. Look at that. We've balanced it out. All is well. My soul feels less itchy now. Good. Still can't breathe, but we'll blame that on the cats. Okay. Son of a... Our nose is just falling apart. Oxygen's for winners. And we've just been struggling. Okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. Alright. Section 1. We're going to read this. It's the last thing we do. We are going to make it through this. Okay. In this lesson, you will learn to use an important React feature called prop types. Prop types are useful for two reasons. The first reason is prop validation. Validation can ensure that your props are doing what they're supposed to be doing. If props are missing, or if they're present but they aren't what you're expecting, then a warning will print in the console. This is useful, but reason number 2 is arguably more useful: documentation. Documenting props makes it easier to glance at a file and quickly understand the component class inside. When you have a lot of files, and you will, this can be a huge benefit. Click Next to learn how to use prop types. Alright, 2 of 4. Not bad. In the code editor, take a look at message displayer's render function. Message displayer. Here is their render function. Cool. Notice the expression this.props.message. From this expression, you can deduce that message displayer expects to get past a prop name message. Somewhere at some time, this code is expected to execute. Message displayer message equals something. If a component class expects a prop, then you can give that component class a prop type. The first step to making a prop type is searching for a property named prop types on the instructions object. If there isn't one, make one. Put it at the top of the instructions object so that it will be easy to spot if you end up searching for it again. See the example of prop types property on line 6 through 8. 6 through 8 prop types. Cool. 6 through 8. Golden. The second step is to add a property of the, nope. We jumped ahead. Okay. See the example of prop types property on line 6 through 8. Notice the value of prop types is an object, not a function. The second step is to add a property to the prop types object. For each prop that your component class expects to receive, there can be one property on your prop types object. Message displayer only expects one prop message. Therefore, its prop type object only has one property. All right. Fascinating story. Kind of. Select bestseller.js. Okay, we are now in bestseller. Give the bestseller component class a prop types property. For now, set prop types equal to an empty object literal. So just like this, we've got prop types colon curly braces, and that's all it's going to be. Now they were doing that right before render. Prop types colon soulless curly braces with nothing in it and comma. One too many spaces. There we go. Let's run that. Maybe. Probably green check mark. Cool. Green check mark. Huzzah. Section 3. Alright, wow, that is a lot of highlighting. Okay, there we go. In the code editor, look at the property on message displayer's prop types object. Message react.proptypes.string. What are the properties on prop types supposed to be exactly? The name of each prop type in prop types should be the name of an expected prop. In our case, message displayer expects a prop named message. So our property's name is message. The value of each property in prop type should fit this pattern. React.proptypes.expected type goes here. Cool. Since message is presumably going to be a string, we chose react.proptypes.string. You can see this on line 7 right yonder. See this on line 7. Notice the difference in capitalization between prop types object and React prop types. We've got regular camel case, and then we've got upper camel case. Each property on prop types is called a prop type. Select the next file in the code editor, runner.js, find runner's prototypes object. Okay, runner.js. Prototype, son of a bitch, prop type. There we go, prop types. Message, style, is metric miles, miles to kilometers, races. We've got prop types here, and then upper camel case prop types. Okay, runner.js. Runner has 6 prop types. Look at each one. Note that the bool and function are abbreviated, but all other data types are spelled normally. Yes. Bool, function, everything else is string, object, number, array. Cool. Noted. Weird, but noted. If you add .is required to a prop type, then you will get a console warning if that prop isn't sent. Try to find all 6 props from the prop types object in runner's render function. This.props.message, this.props.style, etc. Okay. Where? In the what now? Find all 6 props in runner's render. There's the render function. Repeat this nightmare together. Let's see what their actual instructions are for this. All right, instructions. Select bestseller.js. In bestseller's prop types, oh, that was close. In bestseller's prop types object, write one prop type for each prop that bestseller is expecting. Title, author, and works and weeks on list. Make title and author strings. Make weeks on list a number. Make all 3 is required. If you get stuck, look on runner.js for guidance. We're gonna need to piece this together because this is bad. This is gonna end in flames. The internet will be broken in just moments from now, so brace yourselves. Okay. If I were a prop type, where would I be? We've got prop types here. A prop type is just before render. We've got all kinds of fun stuff. Message, style, is metric, blah, blah, blah. Colons for everybody. React.prop types. In upper camel case, nothing special. Followed by the actual data type we're expecting. So dot string, or an object, or a bool, or a number. Cool. Function and array. And then lastly, dot is required. Dot is required, blah, blah, blah. And when it continues on, we've got commas. So let's take this nightmare and continue over here. All we have to do is cram things inside of here. All right. Now that we've got that out of the way, the understanding, let's reread this nonsense. In bestsellers prop types object, check. Write one prop type for each prop that bestseller is expecting. Title, author, and weeks on list. Cool. So that's three things, 2 strings, 1 number. All of them will be required. Oh, look, yeah, make title and author strings, cool, and weeks on list a number. All right, should not be an issue. we've got title, colon, we're going to finish out the other ones, author, colon, and weeks on list, colon. React. Yeah. React dot something. I'm trying to go off memory. Prop type, capital, or upper camel case. Prop type. Dot the data type, string. Dot is required, comma. Okay, so we can basically kind of take that because pretty much the same thing. But instead, this will be. Actually, no, that's going to be the exact same thing. The thing that's different will be this. Down here will be number, and we don't need comma. Cool. Runner and blah required. Let's give that a run. Maybe. He's thinking. Boom. Green check mark. Beautiful. All right. The internet lives another day. 2. Good. You just gave bestseller 3 prop types. In the code editor, open the last file, booklist.js. At the bottom of the file, render booklist using react-dom.render. Booklist. Oh, they're testing us. react-dom.render. Empty parentheses. Semicolon. We've got rendering book list. And I think that only gets a comma followed by document dot get element by ID app. God, I hope that's right. Go ahead and run. Aha! Look at that. Bestsellers 1, 2, and 3. Glory and War Stuff for Dad. The Crime Criminals. And Subprime Lending for Punk Rockers. Cool. Okay. Beautiful. Next, section 4. All right, remember stateless functional components? You can see some familiar ones in example.js. How could you write prop types for a stateless functional component? You couldn't do it in the usual way. The usual way involves adding prop types, adding a prop type property to the instructions object. Stateless functional components don't have instructions objects. Okay, usual way, variable example equals react.createClass, prop types, is example true. Blah diddly blah. Stateless functional component way, functional example props, and confusion ensues. To write prop types for a stateless functional component, you define a prop type's object as a property of the stateless functional component itself. Here's what that looks like. Function example props return h1 props.message. Example.prop types message would be react.proptypes.string.is required. Ta-da! See that? Kind of inception-y, but that's okay. We can't breathe at all. Why? Death. It's okay. Oxygen's overrated. Breathing is, it's like if there's time, we'll breathe later, right? There's plenty of time to breathe when you're dead. Select guinea pigs. You can see your guinea pig stateless functional component from earlier. Give it a prop type. Guinea pigs container. Examples. Okay, so in between guinea pigs function and module exports, define a prop types property on guinea pigs. Use the example code above as a guide. Guinea pigs is only expecting one prop, so it should get only one prop type. Give guinea pigs one prop type matching its expected prop. Make the prop type is required. If you aren't sure what prop guinea pigs is expecting, check the render function in guinea pigs container.js. Okay, so what is it expecting? It's expecting something somewhere. Prop type. I'm super confused. We're so close to getting it right. But it feels so far away. So maybe let's just do baby steps. So in between here, we're going to be adding prop types. So example.prop types. We're going to steal this basically. Copy. And then we're going to piece in the pieces that we need. So props. It's expecting props to some degree. Function guinea pigs props. Blah. Example.prop types message react blah diddly blah. Select guinea pigs.js. Cool. You can see your guinea pig stateless functional component from earlier. Let's give it a prop type. That's from earlier. We've given it a prop type. In between guinea pigs function and module.exports, define a prop types property on guinea pigs. Use the, we should be doing guinea pigs then. Guinea pigs. Use the example code above as a guide. Guinea pigs is only expecting one prop, so it should only get one prop type. Yeah, message. Actually, I don't know if it's message. What the hell is it expecting? Give guinea pigs one prop type, matching its expected prop. Make the prop type is required. You aren't sure what prop type guinea pigs is expecting, check the render function. Render function, variable source, this dot state current guinea pig or source. I'm so confused. Death. I think it's source. Pretty sure it's source. But now I can't recall if I'm supposed to put an image or object. They definitely don't think it's string. It's not string. We're going to run it, see what error code we get, and then we'll correct from there. Falling is good. Falling is our friend. We learn from our mistakes. If it gives us any, son of a bitch. Huh. The things with the stuff still aren't loading, so we're just going to refresh the page. Pretty sure I've broken the internet. Hopefully it loads. I am missing something. We've got our prop types. Got guinea pigs. We've got guinea pigs that we need to render. Something about prop types goes in between that. Guinea pigs are prop types. I don't believe it's message. It's probably something else. We're going to look at 3. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. String object bool function array. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. Good. Okay, so let's jump to 4 and we're gonna trust in our friend Google. That's right. We're pulling the Google card. Why is it not letting us go to 4? We've already been to 4. I don't know why it says it's locked. So strange. Okay, we're back. We're going to copy this. I'm sure the answer is extremely simple, and I'm just totally missing it. But... Codecademy. Yeah, let's see. What's going down here? Prop types for stateless functional components doesn't seem to trigger. This is just some general forum. Fuck. Hey, OGSDHI. I don't know how to say your name. Step 3, add prototype. Step 4, break. Oh, damn. I had hope. That's funny. That's good. Yes, you got that right on the head. Yeah, add prop type, break codecademy. I thought there was the gem of help in there. Dead, Stephen. That's okay. It's supposed to do something, and it's so close. So very, very close. Normal way to display a prop type. So we've got function example, props, return, h1 props.message. Example.props type, message react.blah. Alright. Normal way to display a prop. Variable myComponent class, render function, this.prop. Stateless functional component way to display a prop. Function myComponent class, props as a parameter, return prop title. Normal way to display a prop using a variable myComponent class, React.create class, render function, variable title, this.props.title, return h1 title. Stateless functional component way to display a prop using a variable functional function my component class props as the parameter, variable title, no this, just props.title, return title. Okay. We're dealing with that. We're letting that sink in. We're just square one-ing all of this from the top. We've got our variable react function guinea pig. It's already bringing in the props parameter, so we're set on that front. We've got our variable source, which props.source. We're good there too. No this involved. We've got our return. Our div is good. Our h1 is mostly okay, and we have our image source. Variable source is prop, so maybe it's object. Maybe it's supposed to be dot object. That's probably what it's supposed to be. Guinea pigs dot prototype message, probably source or image or photo, whatever we want to call it. Actually, I think it's a photo carousel, but fuck that noise, right? React.prototypes.string is required. Then we've got module exports. They were telling us if we need something, select guineapigs.js, selected. You can see your guinea pig's stateless functional component from earlier. Let's give it a prop type. Checkity check. In between guinea pigs function and module.exports, define a prop type property on guinea pigs. Use the example code as above, or example code above as a guide. Check. Guinea pigs is only expecting one friggin' prop. So it should only get one prop type. Checkity check. Give guinea pigs one prop type matching its expected prop. So the name message really doesn't matter. It could be anything. It could be squirrel or whatever we like. Hell, it could be guinea pig. But it's already being used, or probably confuse the crap out of it. Give guinea pigs one prop type matching its expected prop. Make this prop type is required. Cool. Is required, got that. If you aren't sure what prop type guinea pigs is expecting, check the render function in guinea pigs container.js. We're looking at the render function. That's all the variable React require stuff. Here's a variable genuine paths array. We've got here our guinea pigs container component variable guinea pigs container equals react.create class. There's get initial state function and the next GP function, interval, component did mount, blah, 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 component will unmount, and then the render function. Here's the variable for it. Variable source is genuine paths, this.state, current GP, and then it's returning the guinea pig's instance, and the prop that it's been given is source. This is our key. This is all we need to worry about. I just don't know what data type that is. I guess it's source. Do I do exactly this? Source and curly braces? We get to go around with that a couple times. So object? I don't know. I don't know what data type to put in here. And I guess source? This hurts. I don't know what to do. Run? I think we're on the right path. I think I've got the general idea. I feel like I'm extremely close, like pressed up against the glass for having the right answer. I just can't quite figure out exactly what the hell the right answer is to get the stupid green check mark. Is there a different like forum area. Let's refresh this page. Maybe it's just function. This is brutal. Function, perhaps. Looks like source is an array of strings. Oh, URLs. You're so clever. Okay. The next one I was going to try was going to be function. And then arrays was going to be third. But I didn't want to do arrays because it wasn't making sense to me. But that makes sense. Okay. So it's the array of links. Or the array of strings because of the URLs. Gotcha. Oh, that helps so much. Hopefully the name source is fine again. Variable really shouldn't matter, but for peace of mind. Maybe I should call it genuine paths. Wait. Genuine pigs. Guinea pigs. Prop types object should have a property of source react.string is required. So I guess it's because it's strings in the array. And I guess I just needed to call it source. But didn't I already run source with string? I thought I already did source.string. Oh no, I did source.object. I never did source.string. Ah, bastards. So close. So very, very close. Let's run that. Hopefully. Ta-da! Oh, thank God. Alright. Finally. You did something. Congratulations, we aren't crying. .string is required. Yes. D. Beautiful. Oh, we made it out of the woods. Finally. Okay, up next, React forms. Learn how to use forms in React. Start lesson. Is this actually starting section 3, or is this the section 5? You know what I mean, right? No. 1 through 7. Trying to figure out if this is part today or tomorrow. Codecademy, 70% of the way through. Okay, React forms, cool. So it's the last bit for section 2, and then tomorrow will be lifecycle methods. So advanced React forms. This is what we're in now. All right, there's only 7. Fingers crossed this doesn't take forever. We're starting to run low on time, but we're going to do it because we can, right? All right, onwards. Day 105 continues for now. If we have to stop abruptly, so be it. This unit's final lesson is about forms. And not breathing. Thank you. Good God. Damn my allergies and such. Alright. This unit's final lesson is about forms. Think about how forms work in a typical non-React environment. A user types some data into a form's input fields, and the server doesn't know about it. The server remains clueless until the user hits a submit button, which sends all the form's data over to the server simultaneously. In React, as in many other JavaScript environments, this is not the best way of doing things. The problem is that the period of time during which a form thinks that a user has typed one thing, but the server thinks that the user has typed a different thing. What if during that time, a third party of a website needs to know what a user has typed? It could ask for the form or the server and get two different answers. In a complex JavaScript app with many moving interdependent parts, made it through that, interdependent parts, this kind of conflict can easily lead to problems. In a React form, you want the server to know about every new character or deletion as soon as it happens. That way, your screen will always be in sync with the rest of your application. Next. 2 of 7. Beautiful. A traditional form doesn't update the server until a user hits submit. But you want to update the server anytime a user enters or deletes any character. 1. Look at input.js, and we're looking. Beautiful. Can you find the bug? It's somewhere in the render function. Down yonder. Scroll down. Once you have a guess, okay, we're just ignoring that bit. We're looking at here. Variable, we'll even make it full screen. Okay, so I have no idea. Still clueless as day one, right? To what's going on. Variable input, react.create class, render function, return. The main thing that's jumping out to me is that div should be red. So my guess is there should be like a comma or a semicolon or a something. I am in H1 div. Quotes or curly braces? No? Does that make me feel better? Nope. There's also some issue down here. Something's up. Well, we've located the area in general. Let's back out and see what they've actually got to say. I guess I should get rid of the comma I put in as well. There's a self-closing tag without a forward slash. Find the missing forward slash and fill it in. Oh, the input. The input. Ta-da. Hey, XJ Man. How you doing? Hopefully your day's going well. I've been struggling through day 105, but we're making progress. OGSDI was able to help guide me, nudge me in the right direction. And earlier we had Ant Mounds given his 2 cents. But now, so we've added that, now we just get to hit run. Cool. Alright. So far, so good. I am in H1. Beautiful. Green check mark there, green check mark here too. Look at inputs render function. View on the screen. Oh, view the results on the screen. Try tapping into the input. Try typing. Haha, just kidding. Not tapping. Typing into the input in the browser. Beautiful. So graceful. Once input has been set up correctly, then you'll be able to change the H1's inner text by typing into input in the browser. Cool. You want to respond to any entered or delete character in the input field. The best way to do that is by listening for a change event on the input. Give input an onChange attribute, set onChange's value equal to this.handle user's input. Don't worry about the fact that there is no handle user input function yet. You'll make one. Input text on change. Am I adding this in addition? or replacing text. I think I'm doing it in addition to. I don't need the no, I don't need the quotes. And run. Hopefully. Green check mark in the bag. 3 of 7. Kinda making progress. In this next exercise, you will define a function that gets called whenever a user enters or deletes any character. This function will be an event handler. It will listen for change events. You can see an example of an event handler listening for change events in example.js. Select input.js. We're selecting, good. For inputs render function, write a new property named handle users input, make handle users input value a function. Give this function one parameter named e. Inside this function's body, call this.setState. Set the state's user input property equal to e.target.value. e.target.value will equal the text in the input field you were setting. This.state.user input equal to whatever text is currently in input. You'll define a getInitialState function in the next exercise. Good. So if you're confused, raise your hand, because I know I am. We're going to go through the instructions one by one and actually pay attention and make the changes. So, don't mind me responding to things. We are reading instructions. Select input. Okay, from the top, we're shoving something somewhere with a handle user input. Go time. Select input.js. Checkity check. Before inputs render function. 1, 2. Ta-da. One step down. Beautiful. Before inputs render function, write a new property named handle user input. Copy. Make handle user input a function. User input function. Empty curly stuff, comma. Okay. Give this function one parameter named e. Is that right? E. Inside the function's body, call this.setState. Set the state's user input property equal to e.target.value. Oh no, I'm starting to get confused. Inside the function's body here, call this.setState. Just don't overthink it. This.setState. It's totally cool. We're supposed to be here typing this stuff. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Set the state's user input property equal e.target. I'm confused. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what's happening anymore. Like, I'm envisioning it. I kind of want to do something like user input blah e.target.value. But this seems generally wrong. You know? Maybe. Give this function one parameter named e. Cool. So we've got the function, we've got its one parameter, which is e. inside this function's body, call this dot set state. We shoved in this dot set state. Set the state's user input property. That's the part, user input property. e.target.value will equal the text in the input field. You are saying this dot state dot user input equal to whatever the text is currently in input. This is very Inception-y. I feel like everything would be stacking inside of itself. So this dot set state equals it equals something. Example.js. Okay, aha, there we go. Boom, boom, look at that. I was wondering if it would be parentheses instead. Aha, deal with it. It's this kind of stuff. All right, we're good. Handle, interesting. So is this basically all we need for the other stuff? I'm gonna steal you, because I can. So let's do this. Boom. All right, I feel a lot better about that now. I could see it stacked and tiered visually. I could see it this way, but I didn't know what punctuation or syntax to use. Set it up correctly. But this is helpful. This is good. Happy thoughts. But continuing on from there, there's still more to it, I believe. Inside the function's body, call this dot set state. So we've got this dot set state. Set the state's user input property. Aha, this is one of the properties inside set state. And we're setting this equal to e.target.value. Ta-da! .target.value will equal the text. Oh, is this just commentary? This is commentary. This isn't saying any additional thing. This is just helping us reflect on what we're doing right now. e.target.value will equal the text in the input field. You're setting this dot state dot user input equal to whatever is currently in input. This is explaining all of that. Gotcha. You'll define a getInitialState function in the next exercise. Go ahead and run this. Way to overthink things, Steven. Beautiful. Okay, green check mark. 4 of 7 on the horizon. Here we go. Good. Anytime that someone types or deletes in input, the handle user input function will update this dot state dot user input with the input's text. Since you're using this dot set state, that means that input needs a getInitialState function. You know that getInitialState function should return an object, and that object should contain a property for each piece of state that you want. So far, that gets you here. getInitialState function return user input blah. What should this dot state dot user input's initial value be? Well, this dot state dot user input will be displayed in the input. What should the initial text in the input be when a user first visits the page? The initial text should be blank. Otherwise, it would look like someone had already typed something. Instructions. Give input a getInitialState function. The getInitialState function should return this object. User input. Feel free to use the example code as a guide. Don't forget to separate getInitialState from handle user input with a comma. So fun. Where am I putting stuff? So get initial state goes after. Is that what's happening? Get initial state function return. Get initial state functions should return this. And also they're saying don't forget to separate get initial state from handle user input with a comma. I don't know if they want us to put it before handle user input or after. I kind of want to do get initial state before. I feel like that's more important, or something we'd tackle first. Comma. Although, why did it change all those colors for that stuff? That seems weird, right? Maybe it's the question marks that's throwing everything off. User input should return blah. There we go, that fixed everything. So let's go ahead and run this. Thinking, it's thinking. Boom. Green check mark in the bag. Very nice. Action 5. Alright, don't mind me. Tiny crisis. Need to make a quick call, because that's what we do. Just a second. Muting the mic. Alright, call dealt with. We're good. Still can't breathe though, but you know, whatever. Alright, 5 of 7. When a user types or deletes in the input, then that will trigger a change event, which will call handle user input. That's good. Handle user input will set this.state.user_input equal to whatever text is currently in the input field. That's also good. There's only one problem. You can set this.state.user_input to whatever you want, but input won't care. You need to somehow make the input's text responsive to this.state.user_input. Easy enough. You can control an input. You can control an input's text by setting its value attribute. Inside of input's render function, give input the following attribute: value this.state.user_input. render function, input, value. Run. Hopefully it's thinking. Cool. Green check mark down. That should do it. And idiomatically, really? Idiomatically? Robot voice. Speak to me. What is this phrase we see before us? Yeah, idiomatically. Once more, robot man. Idiomatically. Cool. We'll add that one to our to-do list for Scrabble. Okay. That should do it in idiomatically correct React form. This example doesn't have something... Okay, this example doesn't have a server per se. This example doesn't have a server per se, but anytime that a user updates input, the new text is immediately stored in input state. We could easily connect that state with a server. What matters is that the text is sent somewhere to be stored on every character change. Inside the h1, delete the text I am in h1, replace it with this.state.user input. Click run, try typing into input in the browser. We've got you, copy, and shove it to here. We're gonna run it. Greenish check mark, maybe, fingers crossed. Cool, green check mark, and or the other favorite. Look at that, so graceful. Beautiful, beautiful. Our input field is working flawlessly. We have created fully functioning form, well, field. Let's see what other stuff we've got going on. All right, can't breathe. Okay, here we go. Oh, falling apart right at the end, of course. There are two terms that will probably come up when you talk about React forms: controlled component and uncontrolled component. Like automatic binding, controlled versus uncontrolled component is a topic that you should be familiar with, but don't need to understand deeply at this point. An uncontrolled component is a component that maintains its own internal state. A controlled component that does not maintain any internal state. What? A controlled component is a component that does not maintain any controlled internal state. Wow. The lack of oxygen is starting to affect us. Once more, third time's the charm. A controlled component is a component that does not maintain any internal state. Since a controlled component has no state, it must be controlled by someone else. Think of a typical input type equals text element. It appears on screen as a text box. If you need to know what text is currently in the box, then you can ask the input, possibly with some code like value, input, document query selector, input type equals text blah, variable type text equals input.value. Input.value will be equal to whatever the text is currently in the text box. Cool. The important thing here is that the input keeps track of its own text. You can ask it what its text is at any time, and it will be able to tell you. The fact that input keeps track of information makes it an uncontrolled component. It maintains its own internal state by remembering data about itself. It's like we're scuba diving. I have to breathe like once every 20 to 25 seconds and then keep breathing. You have to stop for oxygen. Ridiculous. Alright. Continuing on. A controlled component, on the other hand, has no memory. If you ask it for information about itself, then it will have to get that information through props. Most React components are controlled. In React, when you give an input a value attribute, then something strange happens. The input becomes controlled. It stops using its internal storage. That is a more React way of doing things. You can find more information about controlled and uncontrolled components here. We will begin here. Yet again, facebook.github for all the fun information we could ever want. Beautiful, beautiful text area tags, select tag, handling multiple inputs, and some other fun stuff. Cool. The important thing, as always, we know where to find the resources. Awesome. Next, section 7. Hot damn, no instructions here. We've got our badge. Let's finish this out. Great work. You just wrote your first React form. Notice that you didn't use a submit button. You didn't even use a form element. Your form was actually just an input. That won't always be the case. You will sometimes want a form element and a submit button, especially if you need to differentiate between a finished form and an in-progress form. But in some cases, it's fine to have a form that is really just an input field. That's because unlike the traditional form paradigm in React, you're resending your form on every single character change. That removes the need to ever submit anything. That marks the end of this unit. You've learned a wide variety of important techniques, inline styles, separating container and presentational components, stateless functional components, prop types, and forms. You'll review all of it in the next course. There's only one major tool still missing from your tool belt: lifestyle methods. We'll cover those in the course's final unit. Hot damn, we made it out of the woods alive. Up next, mounting lifecycle methods. Lifecycle methods that occur when a component first mounts to the DOM. Start lesson. D. Alright, so what do we have on the horizon for tomorrow? There's 5 seconds. My guess is that'll be small. Probably part 2 will be small. Hopefully I can knock out all section 3 tomorrow, and we'll finish React part 2 in its entirety. For a taster, though, for tomorrow, lifecycle methods are methods that get called at certain moments in a component's life. You can write a lifecycle method that gets called right before a component renders for the first time. You can write a lifecycle method that gets called right after a component renders every time, except for the first time. You can attach lifecycle methods to a lot of different moments in a component's life. This has powerful implications. In this unit, we'll walk through each lifecycle method. Click next to begin tomorrow. In the meantime, for now, we will check and see where our current stats are as we conclude day 105. Currently, we stand at 80% of the way through React Part 2 with 1,222 points and loading our profile, 170 badges. Alright, good times. That is about it for day 105. We're going to go ahead and kill the stream. And day 106 is on the horizon. We finish out section 3 and put the final nail in the React Part 2 coffin. Thank you again to all those who stopped by to watch the stream. Antmounds, OGSD High, XJMan, and anyone else who may have ventured in here. I greatly appreciate it. And that's about it for today. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it.